In episode 8 of For Beginners, we spent some time with Prince, an artist who stood up to an entire record label just to reclaim his name and his work. And diving into that chapter made me think about something bigger, something this whole season has been quietly building toward. Because if you look back at the artists that we've covered, the rebels, the dreamers, the storytellers, there's been a thread running through all of them. Each had to figure out who they were in a world that always didn't understand them. Each had to fight for their identity, reinvent themselves when they needed to, and trust that their own voice was enough. And all of that leads us to right here. Every generation has that one artist who rises so steadily that the world eventually has to pay attention. For ours, that's Taylor Swift. She began as a kid writing songs in notebooks and grew into someone who didn't just break into country, she took it over. She didn't just cross into pop, she reshaped it. Each era left a mark, still echoing in the culture and in the way the industry understands power. Her rise has been a series of bold choices and reinventions, and that's why she closes out this season. Welcome to the final episode of Season 1, where we look at the era-defining career and story of Taylor Swift. The Beginners. Taylor Allison Swift was born on December 13th, 1989 in Reading, Pennsylvania. Even as a kid, she gravitated towards storytelling. While most kids were tackling multiplication tables, she was filling notebooks with lyrics, trying to turn real-life moments into music. Her influences formed early: Shania Twain, Faith Hill, the Dixie Chicks, James Taylor, and her grandmother's opera background, a mix that quietly shaped the artist she'd become. In 2001, at just 11 years old, she convinced her family to take a trip to Nashville to hand out demo CDs. Every label said no, but she had that spark, that stubbornness that shows up early in people who end up changing things. By 2003, her family moved to Tennessee to bring her closer to the heart of country music. And in 2005, at just 14 years old, Taylor signed with Big Machine Records, not because she got lucky, but because she had already built the discipline and songwriting instincts of someone twice her age. Once Taylor was in Nashville, it didn't take long for people to realize that they were dealing with someone rare. Even in a city full of seasoned songwriters, she stood out because she wrote directly from her own life, with detail and emotion that teenagers weren't supposed to have yet. And the timing couldn't have been better. By the mid-2000s, country music was thriving but aging up. The genre didn't have a lot of young voices speaking to young listeners. Taylor stepped into that role almost instantly. Her 2006 debut introduced that freshness with Tim McGraw and Teardrops on My Guitar. But it was Fearless in 2008 that turned her into a phenomenon. Best-selling album of the year, multiple Grammys, and at that time, the youngest artist to ever win Album of the Year. What she was building wasn't just success, it was momentum. The kind that shows up right before everything changes. After the massive success of Fearless, Taylor could have stayed where she was, a country superstar with nothing left to prove. Instead, she pushed further. Her third album, Speak Now, released in 2010, was a declaration. She wrote every song herself to prove her storytelling wasn't just a skill, it was her foundation. Standout songs like Mine and Enchanted showed her scaling up her sound and ambition. Then came Red in 2012. The album where she began bending genres to her will. One moment you had heartbreak storytelling like All Too Well, and the next, Max Martin pop anthems like We Are Never Getting Back Together. It was chaotic in a way that felt honest, because heartbreak is chaotic, and reinvention is too. Critics didn't know what to call it. Looking back, the answer was very clear. Red was the bridge. By the end of the Red era, Taylor had pushed country as far as it could go. Staying meant holding herself back. So in 2014, she took the leap and released 1989, her first fully pop album. The sound was bigger and brighter, matched with world-class pop production. Suddenly, she wasn't just succeeding in pop, she was spearheading the genre. But it wasn't just the singles. Her lyrics built an entire era around them. The visuals, the confidence, and the world building. And when the dust settled, 1989 earned her another Grammy for Album of the Year, making her the first woman to ever win the award twice as a lead artist. That wasn't luck. It was fearless reinvention. After 1989, Taylor became one of the most visible artists on the planet, and visibility brought scrutiny. In 2016, it all exploded with the Kanye West-Kim Kardashian feud and a selectively edited phone call that went viral. Almost overnight, the internet turned on her. Memes, headlines, hashtags, everyone decided they knew who she was. So she did something unexpected. She vanished. No interviews, no explanations, just silence. When she returned in 2017, it wasn't with apologies. It was with reputation. An album built around reclaiming a narrative people tried to steal from her. The snake imagery and the darker sound, It was Taylor turning the world's version of her into armor. The tour that followed became one of the highest grossing in US history and cemented that Reputation wasn't a fall, it was a reset. After the storm of Reputation, Taylor stepped into something brighter. Lover, released in 2019, felt like the sun coming up after a long night. Standout songs like Lover, Cruel Summer, and The Archer showed a grounded artist rebuilding her world with clarity. But beneath the pastel palette was something much deeper. In 2018, Taylor left Big Machine and signed with Republic and Universal. It was a deal ensuring that she would own her future masters, a clean slate, a new beginning. And that moment set the stage for the biggest fight of her career. Just as everything began to align, the past caught up with her. Her first 6 records, the albums that built her, were still owned by Big Machine. And in 2019, instead of selling them to her, they sold them to Scooter Braun, someone that she had publicly accused of using his influence against her. The industry was stunned. Taylor released a statement explaining how she tried to buy her work back and that choice was taken out of her hands. So she made a decision that no one expected. She would re-record everything. Every album, every song, every era she didn't own. And that decision is where everything changes. Well, my friends, that's where this half of the story ends. And when we return in season 2, we'll see how she rises from this moment and rewrites not just her own legacy, but changes the music industry forever. So that, my friends, is part 1 of Taylor Swift for Beginners. A journey from Pennsylvania notebooks to Nashville to country superstardom to pop domination, all leading to the moment her entire catalog slipped out of her hands. Before I wrap up this episode, I just want to take one more moment and say something to all of you. For Beginners from its inception has always been a passion project of mine where I talk about the artists and the music that shaped the soundtrack of my life. I didn't know if anyone would watch it. And now at the end of season 1, seeing how many of you showed up, watched, commented, shared, or even just let the videos play in the background, it meant more than I can put into words. I'm really proud of this season. I'm proud of the work that we put in, the writing, the long edits, the reshoots upon reshoots, and the growth. I'm so incredibly grateful to everyone who spent some time here. Whether you watched 1 episode or all 10, thank you. And the best part is, this is only the beginning. Winter's coming. Season 2 is coming. And I can't wait to keep going, keep growing, and keep bringing the stories of the artists that changed music. So as we wrap up every episode, thanks for coming along on this journey with me. We'll see you in January 2026.